جتنے فرقے بنے ہیں وہ رسول پاک صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم کے طریقے سے منحرف ہیں. اور صرف شیعہ اثنا عشریہ اور شیعہ اثنا عشریہ میں بھی صرف وہ لوگ جو اہل بیت طاہرین علیہ السلام کی اتباع کرتے ہیں اور کسی کو اہل بیت طاہرین علیہ السلام کے مساوی قرار نہیں دیتے اور کسی اور کے کلام کو حجت قرار نہیں دیتے, صرف وہ صراط حق پر ہیں. اور باقی سب کے سب جتنے فرقے ہیں چاہے ان کی تعداد زیادہ کیوں نہ ہو, وہ صراط حق رسول صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم سے اور ان کی سنت سے, ان کی دین سے, ان کی تعلیمات سے اجنبی ہیں, ان سے منحرف ہیں. اور اس کے بعد کے دلائل بہت زیادہ ہیں. اور اس کا ایک ہی دلیل یہ ہے کہ ہم یہاں پہ آتے ہیں ہر سیٹرڈے کو اور ہم دعوت دیتے ہیں بہت ہی عاجزی کے ساتھ, تواضع کے ساتھ, انکساری کے ساتھ, اور اپنے آپ کو چھوٹا, اور حقیقت میں بھی ہم چھوٹے ہیں, علم میں بھی چھوٹے ہیں, عمل میں بھی کم ہیں, گنہگار ہیں. دعوت دیتے ہیں اپنے مسلمان بھائیوں کو کہ اگر شیعہ مذہب کے متعلق آپ کے اشکالات ہیں تو طرح کیجیے, اگر ہمیں نہیں آیا تو ہم تحقیق کر کے اگلے ہفتے اس کا جواب لے کے آئیں گے. تو الحمدللہ آپ دیکھتے ہیں کہ جماعت مخالفین کے علماء, ان کو تو آپ جانتے ہیں کہ اگر فتح کی امید کی, کوئی فتح کی اور پیروزی کی اور شیعوں کو شرمندہ کرنے کی اگر ان کے دل میں کوئی امید ہوتی تو وہ ضرور ادھر لائن لگاتے, ادھر بہت آ جاتے ہیں, لیکن وہ کوئی سامنے نہیں آتا. یہ کوئی سامنے نہیں آتا, یہ بہت واضح بات ہے کہ ہر انسان کسی سے بات کرنا چاہتا ہے نا, اس سے پہلے وہ تحقیق کرتا ہے, سوچتا ہے کہ میں اس کو کیا کہوں گا جو وہ جواب نہ دے سکے, ٹھیک ہے نا. تو اسی سوچ میں, اسی مرحلے میں وہ پھنس گئے. جماعت مخالفین اسی بات میں پھنس گئے کہ ہم شیعہ کے متعلق کون سے ایسے سوال لے کے آ جائیں کو پھنس جائیں. تو یہ شیعہ مذہب میں ایسی کوئی بات نہیں ہے میرے محترم ناظرین, کہ وہ اگر ہم ایسے اشکال لائیں جس کا ہمیں پھنسا دیں. اور پھر وہ ان کو خود بھی پتا ہے کہ شیعوں کے پاس ایسے بہت سارے سوالات ہیں, مسئلہ خلافت پر, مسئلہ امامت پر اور دوسرے عقائد کے اجزاء پر, کہ اس کا جواب جماعت مخالفین نہیں دے سکتے. تو ان کے لیے واحد راستہ کیا بچ جاتا ہے کہ وہ سامنے نہ آئیں, بات نہ کریں, کیونکہ آئیں گے تو شرمندگی ہوگی. یہ واضح دلیل ہے اور یہ بہت ہی سادہ دلیل ہے. اس کے پیچھے کہ یہ لوگ بڑے بڑے علماء کیوں نہیں آتے, اس کی واضح بات یہی ہے. بہرحال ٹیسٹ کریں آپ لوگ. ابھی آپ کچھ کال لیتے ہیں, بہت سارے کالر یہاں پہ ہیں, کچھ ویڈیو کالرز ہیں. ایک کالر بھائی ہیں, ان کا نام عمر صاحب ہے, عمر صاحب کو لے لیں. جی جناب عمر صاحب, السلام علیکم.
السلام علیکم.
کیسے ہیں بھائی صاحب, خیریت سے ہیں آپ, ٹھیک ہیں؟
الحمدللہ الحمدللہ.
کہاں سے کال کر رہے ہیں؟
کدھر سے؟ امریکہ سے.
امریکہ سے, اوکے جی جناب حکم کریں.
ٹھیک ہے, اگر میں آپ سے انگلش میں بات کروں, اس لیے کہ میرا اردو تھوڑا سا کافی کمزور ہے.
اوکے کوئی بات نہیں, لیکن ہم ترجیح دیتے ہیں, ہم ترجیح دیتے ہیں کہ آپ اردو میں بات کریں, کیونکہ بہت سارے ہمارے ویورز ہیں جن کو اردو انگلش اچھی طرح نہیں آتی. پاکستان میں بہت سارے گاؤں میں, شہروں میں عام لوگ دیکھتے ہیں, تو ان کو انگلش اتنی سمجھ نہیں آتی. اگر آپ اردو میں جتنا ہو سکتا ہے اردو میں بات کریں, اور جو نہ ہو سکے تو پھر آپ انگلش میں بات کریں.
So I think you have English streams sometimes, right? Or you used to have English.
I haven't had English stream in a while for now.
The English side of Sunni and 12er polemics is missing you. We miss you over there.
Well, I've just been busy with Urdu and Arabic and Farsi, and inshallah I'll start something in English as well. Inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah. I think we'd like to see you active there, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So actually, I came here because I wanted to offer a proposal to you. Mm-hmm. I tried to send it to your operator over WhatsApp, and then they said, "No, we're not gonna forward it to Allahyari. If you want to send it to him, you can go on his show and present it to him yourself."
Okay.
And so it's a formal debate proposal, and I have it written out here. So if you don't mind, I'd like to just read it out.
Okay.
I said, okay. So, dear Mr. Allahyari. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar, a Sunni Muslim and researcher of 12er Shi'ism, specializing in the history and evolution of the doctrine of Imama over the course of 500 years following the demise of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. My academic and intellectual pursuits have led me to engage in a myriad of debates with numerous members of the 12er Shia community, predominantly over social media platforms such as Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Discord. These engagements have proven to be valuable for both parties involved, fostering an environment of mutual learning and understanding. It is with this history and experience that I now turn to you, hoping to deepen this exchange of ideas and challenge the prevalent views within 12er Shi'ism. The spectrum of debates I have participated in has ranged from addressing the basic principles to delving into the intricate facets of 12er Shia theology. I found these discussions to be enriching, giving me the opportunity to contest viewpoints that oppose my understanding and share the rationale behind my perspectives. Time and time again, my arguments have proven to be influential, swaying the narrative of these discussions decisively in my favor. This consistent performance is not an assertion of my intellectual superiority. Rather, it is an affirmation of the strength of my arguments, which are deeply rooted in historical accuracy and scholarly consensus. Each debate has been a testament to this, with the outcomes invariably pointing towards the soundness of my arguments, even when pitted against the staunchest advocates of 12-er Shi'ism. The 12-er Shi'as community post these debates has only fortified this, where instead of countering my perspectives, they've often dismissed their representatives in these debates as mere laypersons. So, for example, if I had a debate with somebody, they would say, you only won because the person you debated with is not knowledgeable. Speak to somebody knowledgeable. Speak to someone like, one of our scholars. So such responses, while seemingly decisive, have encouraged me to reach out to scholars who command respect within the 12-er Shia community, such as yourself, Mr. Allahyari. I've always welcomed and appreciated the opportunity to discuss with individuals who could present thought-provoking arguments and nuanced viewpoints, rather than resorting to discrediting their representatives. My intention is not to undermine the 12-er Shia community, but to promote an atmosphere of open discussion and intellectual scrutiny that could benefit both of our communities. My decision to approach you for this debate, Mr. Allahyari, is not a sudden or haphazard one. In fact, this marks my 5th attempt to engage you in a constructive dialogue. My previous 4 attempts were made through various channels, including the WhatsApp groups associated with your show, and through direct contact with members of your staff, with their contact information shared to me by those within the 12-er community who yearn for our intellectual encounter. I hope that this letter serves as an effective channel to reach you and facilitates our forthcoming discussion. The spirit of my request for this debate stems from yearning for constructive dialogue that would contribute toward enriching mutual understanding and rectifying misconceptions. The topic I propose for this debate is, did the Prophet ﷺ appoint behind the 12-er Imams as infallible hujjas for us to follow? This question is not one chosen arbitrarily. Rather, it touches upon the very foundation of 12-er Shi'ism and its interpretation of imama, a concept central to the sect's religious and understanding and identity. As a scholar specializing in 12-er Shi'ism, I believe it is paramount to dissect and scrutinize this fundamental belief. In so doing, we may reveal truths that can further enrich our understanding and clarify the ambiguities that often surface in theological debates. I am of the firm belief that a topic of such magnitude and importance requires extensive exploration and discussion, which is why I propose that our debate be at least 4 hours in length. This will allow us to deeply delve into the subject matter, allowing both of us ample time to articulate our arguments clearly and respond to counter-arguments in a comprehensive and thought-provoking manner. It is my firm conviction that a debate of this nature can contribute positively to our community's understanding and respect for one another, regardless of our differences in interpretations. As a show of my respect for your time and effort, I am willing to propose 2 options for our debate. First, because you're a scholar, obviously, and you have a name, and I don't. Firstly, we can choose to focus solely on the topic that I have proposed. Did the Prophet ﷺ appoint behind the 12-er Imams as infallible hujjas for us to follow? Recognizing the time and energy that goes into a comprehensive discussion, I'm willing to make a $1,000 donation to your foundation as a token of appreciation for your participation and contribution. Option number 2, alternatively, if you would like to broaden the scope of our debate, I am open to including a topic of your choice alongside the one I've suggested. This would provide both of us with the opportunity to delve into matters of mutual interest and challenge, adding a layer of diversity to our intellectual exchange. I see this as a chance to understand your perspective on issues that you consider central to our faith and important to our communities to discuss. I sincerely hope you will consider either of these options favorably, as they are extended in the spirit of mutual respect and a shared commitment to intellectual discourse. Anticipating potential concerns you might have with my proposed topic, I would like to address an argument often put forth by the 12-er Shia apologists: the insistence on debating the Imam of Ali radiallahu anhu, karamallahu wajha, before discussing subsequent Imams. They argue that the acceptance of the later Imams is contingent on first accepting Imam Ali radiallahu anhu as the first Imam. While at glance, this argument might seem logical, it does, however, constitute a fallacy that I believe warrants addressing. The argument could be classified as a Mott and Bailey fallacy, where the position being defended is often switched during the course of argument to protect it from criticism. The Bailey, representing the actual belief under scrutiny, is the belief in the infallibility of all 12 Imams, from Ali to Muhammad al-Mahdi. Whereas the Mott, the easily defensible position which is used as a distraction, is the Imam of Ali radiallahu anhu. While discussing Ali radiallahu anhu is certainly important, the truth or falsehood of 12-er Shi'ism cannot be judged solely based on this. It is indeed contingent on the acceptance of all 12 Imams and their respective roles as described in 12-er doctrine. To address this concern, my second proposed debate structure offers an opportunity to engage in both discussions. If the Imam of Ali radiallahu anhu is what you wish to debate first, I'm open to doing so. This would constitute our first debate, allowing us to thoroughly explore and debate the Imam of Ali radiallahu anhu. Subsequently, we could proceed to the main topic I proposed, examining the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's appointment of the other 11 Imams as infallible hujjas. In this way, I hope we can avoid any potential fallacies and ensure a rigorous and fair discussion of both topics. The rules I propose for this debate are designed to ensure fairness, respect, and a smooth flow of discussion. Given the complexity of the topic and the respect we owe to our subject matter, I propose a strictly moderated debate with clearly defined speaking times. To uphold the integrity of this debate, we will both agree upon the rules, and the selected moderator, who can be a 12-er Shia, will take an oath by Allah at the outset to ensure fair conduct according to the predefined rules. Almost done. The role of the moderator will be to monitor compliance with the rules and time constraints rather than intervening in the content of our arguments. They will not make judgments on whether a participant's line of argumentation is on or off topic. However, they will have the authority to intervene in case of rule violation, such as the use of inappropriate language or disrespectful remarks about revered religious figures. Furthermore, I firmly believe that our debate should be held on a neutral platform that ensures equal opportunity for us to present our evidences and arguments. While you can broadcast the debate on your live show, the debate itself must be held on a platform that allows me to share evidences from books and other relevant sources. I propose Discord as it provides the necessary features, including image sharing, voice communication, and easy moderation. In sum, my intention is to foster an environment of intellectual honesty and respectful discourse where we can freely express our views and respond to each other's arguments. It is imperative that our discussion remains centered on the chosen topics, ensuring that we address the critical issues and provide informed responses. I trust that you will find these proposed rules agreeable, and we can progress towards a productive and respectful debate. In conclusion, I seek to engage in a respectful intellectual exchange that explores the core tenets of 12-er Shi'ism and examines the historical veracity of its beliefs. My hope is that our discourse will not only benefit us as individuals seeking knowledge, but also our communities for observing and perhaps even grappling with the same questions we aim to discuss. It is with a spirit of openness, mutual respect, and commitment to intellectual honesty that I extend this invitation to you, Mr. Allahyari. I'm confident and that regardless of our differences, our discussion can serve as a beacon of what can be achieved when sincere and scholarly individuals come together in the pursuit of truth. Thank you in advance for considering my proposal. I look forward to the potential of engaging with you in this proposed debate, and I anticipate that it will be an enriching experience for both of us, and indeed for all those who may choose to listen to our dialogue, whether our beliefs converge or diverge at the end of this discourse. I believe the journey will be worthwhile and that it will benefit both of our communities.
Okay, understood. Thank you. So ये भाई साहब इधर आए हैं, ये कोई प्रपोजल दे रहे हैं पढ़ के कि ये चाहते हैं कि हमारे साथ इंग्लिश ज़बान में मुनाजरा करें और वो मॉडरेटेड मुनाजरा हो 12 इमाम अइम्मा ताहरीन अलैहिमुस्सलातु वस्सलाम की इमामत पर, और अगर मैं वो कबूल ना करूं तो सिर्फ अमीरुल मोमिनीन अलैहिस्सलाम की इमामत पर. First of all, tell me your qualifications. Because you mentioned that you have tried to contact me before. This is the first time I'm hearing from you. Just this morning,
correct,
just this morning, my liaison person, he informed me that the person by name of Omar is calling. He doesn't know Urdu properly. He's going to just try to speak in English. So he said, bear with him. That's all I know about you. So I have no information about you. Now you're demanding or you're requesting a 4-hour debate. So obviously it has to be worth my time to invest. So give me your qualifications, please. What's your background?
So can I just answer do you want me to provide proof of the 4 times that I tried to contact you before?
No.
I have.
You said you contacted in some WhatsApp groups. I don't see WhatsApp group, what's going on in there. And if you've texted somebody or sent email to somebody, it's not been communicated to me, because those guys receive a lot of correspondence. A few of people who are in touch with me, they try to act as liaison between me and potential callers or debaters, because so many people contact them. It's possible that your communication was lost. Anyways, go ahead.
I understand. Yeah. So I don't have any formal qualifications. I have a following on social media. Like people on TikTok and Discord. A lot of Shias have requested that after I debated the laymen on TikTok and on Discord, they said, speak to our scholar. It's not fair that you just debate us laymen. Speak to our scholar. And I understand, obviously, you are a scholar and I'm not. And I'm saying that from the outset. And so if it's not worth your time, you can refuse, or you can accept a donation to your foundation as for your time.
Well, it's that I don't take money to debate someone. Obviously, that's actually quite offensive. for you to suggest even such
I'm sorry,
thing.
my apologies. My apologies.
Yeah, apology accepted. So can you read Arabic? Have you read any Shia books in Arabic?
I do have some Shia books on my bookshelf, or 12er books on my bookshelf. And I'm a student of the Arabic language, so I'm not fluent.
Have you read any Shia books on Imama in Arabic?
Not in Arabic, no.
Mm-hmm. Have you listened to any of my speeches on Imama in Urdu?
Yes.
or Arabic?
You have a series on Qadir in English that I've not watched in its entirety, but I've watched some of.
Mm-hmm. But that's just on the sanad of Qadir, mostly, not on its meaning of the hadith of Qadir. So, and what you're suggesting is also not rational and logical. Even if you're a qualified debater, even if you were, this is not a rational approach because what precedes the topic of the 12 Imams being Imams, alayhim as-salam, is the concept of Imamah. The theory of Imamah between our ideology and our school of thought, and between yours. And if you just compare the two, a lot could be discerned by the comparison of the two. And what do you understand? What is you yourself? Do you have any understanding? What is the concept of the theory of Imamah in the Sunni school of thought?
I do. I think so. Yeah.
Elaborate.
I mean, you can quiz me if you want. And we can see if.
Tell me what's your understanding of Imamah and the theory of Khilafah and the succession of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Right? And so the idea is that there are certain people who are given a position of authority, and that authority extends to like many different scenarios. So, for example, the father is the imam or the emir of his household, and his wife and children should obey him.
You're talking about succession of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're not talking whether a father has authority over his children. We're talking about the succession and heirship to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is your understanding of the Sunni? We call you Umari, but for your respect, I call you Sunni. What is your understanding of the Sunni concept of the succession of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Who succeeds him, and who has the right to rule the Muslims after him? Who's going to be their spiritual and religious and political guide of the Muslims after the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What is the teaching and what is the inculcation of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this regard? What's your understanding of that?
Obviously, the Sunni position is that, or the Orthodox Sunni position is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not leave behind a successor. And this is actually attested to by a sahih narration attributed to none other than Ali radiallahu anhu himself. He swears by Allah that the Prophet ﷺ did not appoint anyone behind before he passed. And yeah, the Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was chosen as a falta, as in a fast decision made in order to avoid a bigger catastrophe because of the Ansar and what happened at Saqifa. And obviously it was not the process in which his appointment was
so the Nabi Islam, there's a void of teaching, there's a void of instructions on the part of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam on what to do after his demise. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I don't think that there was a
so what is the instruction of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regard to his succession, with regard to who is going to lead the Muslims?
I'm sorry.
Obviously, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is an interpreter of Quran and teacher of Quran, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Wa'atiyu Allah, wa'atiyu Rasul, wa ulil amri minkum." So, who is that person, or what is the formula by which we discern that this person would be the leader of the Muslims after the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Right, and then I would pose the same question to you, right? Like, what reason do you have to say that ulul amr refers to Ja'far as-Sadiq or Musa al-Kadhim or Ali Rida?
Well, we have myriads of hadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam, that there will be 12 imams and their names and their order and everything. But that's another. We're trying to understand your position. So we are not saying there's a lack of instructions from the part of Allah or Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam on such a critical matter. That even in the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a dispute always. Just look at the Raziyatul Khamis, the hadith of Raziyatul Khamis, the tragedy of the Thursday. And even before that, the attempt of Sahaba to assassinate the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam on his return from the Ghazwa of Tabuk. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, many a time, reiterated that this Sahaba will go astray. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, many a time, he said that the worst thing that I'm afraid of is those Imams after me who will lead my ummah astray. So it's a very critical issue, and we all know we all till today for 1400 years there's a dispute, and a very hard dispute and a very bloody dispute amongst Muslims on who would succeed the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and who would be the leader of the Muslims in different ages. So you're saying he did not appoint anyone, but what is his formula? Because Islam is not just until immediately after the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, until the day of judgment. Muslims would need leaders who would be the Muslims' guide in spiritual matters, military matters, and all aspects of life, including political administration of the Muslim society. So you tell me, what is in your school of thought? Aside from, open Bukhari, open Muslim, what is the instruction? The Imams will be from Quraysh. Is that all you got? What is the instruction of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? What is your Sharia? What is your law? That by which you would determine the question of succession of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his khilafah, generation after generation after generation. Bismillah. Let's hear it.
The instructions given about how to elect a ruler?
Either it's by appointment, either it's by election, either it's by selection, either it's by force. Somebody takes over the Muslim society by force. He subjugates everyone by the sword. What is? Show me. What is your concept, and where are you hadith?
Okay, so just to clarify, once I show you, inshallah, then inshallah we will be able to proceed with the debate discussion, right? And organizing the debate. I'm just suggesting to you. I'm not accepting you right now. I'm not denying or accepting your proposal for debate. What I'm explaining to you, that before you come and ask me whether Ali alayhi salam is the immediate successor of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or not, whether the 12 Imams alayhim salatu wa sallam are the successors of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or not, what precedes that argument rationally and logically is to ponder upon what is the theory of Imam in your school and what's the theory of Imam in my school of thought, in my madhab. Sure, I mean,
if you compare the two, because let me inform you, because I don't think you came here to debate me on Imam, but you don't have a good. Okay, this is a tragedy. How did this guy come? Okay, hold on. Sorry, this was probably I pressed wrong key. Hold on. My apologies.
I think I've been kicked.
So what I was saying that it seems to me that you do not have a good understanding of what's the concept of imama in your school of thought. Let me inform you. In your school of thought, there's a consensus that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam neither appointed a successor after him, nor he gave any instructions on how to determine who his successor would be and who the Muslim ruler would be. So there's a total void of instructions in your school of thought. So you don't have a theory of imama. Therefore, from the day one, your scholars and your theologians have said that the successor of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is known through three ways. Either shura, consultation, appointment, like Abu Bakr appointed Omar without consulting anybody, or through the use of force. All these khulafa who became caliphs throughout history by the sword, because they subjugated their opponents, subjugated Muslim populations, and massacred anybody who opposed them. And they are religiously, spiritually, legitimate caliphs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, successors of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and rulers of Muslims. So you tell me, all these things, these three things that you have mentioned, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you don't have any hadith in these regards that he would have said that you appoint your Khalifa with shura, with consultation. There is no verse of Quran, no instruction of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One Khalifa can appoint another Khalifa after him by succession. No hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or any verse of the noble Quran. Or a person comes by the sword, a dictator, and he decides to massacre and liquidate anybody who opposes him. So,
yeah.
So let's talk about the concept and theory of imamah first. Does it make sense?
Listen, yeah. So okay. We can talk about
if we talk about the theory of imamah first, what is the theory of imamah in your school of thought? Then we will come to a realization that this your theory of imamah is impossible. It was created because of religion, because of political expediencies. It's impossible that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not appoint any successor after him. It's impossible that Islam, while claiming that Islam is a complete religion, there will be a void of instructions with regard to the most critical issue Muslim would face in the hayat of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his lifetime and immediately after his demise. So, and then once we determine that there must be instructions from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam with regard to an imam after him, if we understand that, we reach that conclusion, then it becomes clear. Your school doesn't have, or any other than Shia, no school of thought has any instructions from Allah or Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam with regard to succession, except us, the Shia. And then it becomes very clear. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So if you want to talk to me before, the rational approach would be just if a person does not believe in Allah, we are not going to talk to him whether Quran is a divine book or not. It would be useless to debate that. Or if a person doesn't believe in the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether he is a Rasul or not, we debate with him whether Quran is a book of Allah or not. Because all these things logically and rationally precedes the debate that comes after them. Now, with respect to imamah, if you would like to discuss the theory of imamah first, that would be the most logical approach. But perhaps you should bring one of your ulama with you who would assist you. So because people who watch me, they expect me, if I devote a time, because a lot of people will criticize me, I know. If I debate a layman, then the criticism will come from Shia and everybody. Why did you give this person the time? So it'd be better that you bring either somebody with you or make a group or something. Decide something on your end, okay? Because the criticism will come. If I give time to non-scholars, 3-4 hours, okay, on my personally, I don't mind it. And I won't even call it a debate. I will just, we talk and converse like friends. That'll be fine. But a lot of people will criticize me from the Shias and also non-Shias. They'll say, oh, you found a weak opponent. So you found a solution to that. And if you want to start with the theory of imamah, I'm at your service. Okay. And then after that would be whether Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is the successor or not.
So we're never gonna. So basically, yeah. So okay. So just to clarify, you are not open to defending the Imam of Ja'far Sadiq, because I can show that he's not ma'asum from 12 books. I can show that Ja'far Sadiq is not ma'asum. I can show that Musa al-Kadhim was not appointed. Ismail ibn Ja'far was appointed. I can show that Ali Rida was rejected by Nas. I can show like all these things. I can show from your book.
You can bring anything you want. You can bring anything. These would be individual questions with regard to the specific imams alayhim salatu wassalam. I'll listen to you. I'll answer your questions, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, individually, but it will not be a debate. Callers call me all day long. They call me, they bring up questions about imams' lives or Shia practices or whatever, and I try to answer them. If you have such concerns, yeah. But if you want to have a scholarly discussion with regard to, because Allah precedes the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If a person is an atheist, we are not going to talk to him about whether in Islam there are 2 rakats, Salat al-Subh is 2 rakat or 4 rakat. Yeah. First, he has to accept Allah, or the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the Nabi or not Nabi. What's the meaning of Nabi? Nabi means an apostle, a person who has been sent by Allah. Okay, if we don't know Allah exists or not, we are not going to talk about whether Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sent by him or not. First, we have to determine he exists. Once we establish that he exists, then we establish that he wants to communicate with us, and he wants to talk to us, and he was going to send prophets, and then we're going to talk whether this is a specific person from Mecca, born in Am al-Fil, the year of the elephant, whether he is the son of Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether he is a prophet or not, apostle or not. So there are rational steps that you have to take before you reach the question of imamah of A'immah Tahirin alayhim salatu wasalam. And with regard to imamah, obviously, just as Allah, existence of Allah, is central to the concept of prophethood, likewise, the imamah of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam is central to the imamah of Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So So the rational approach would be for you to understand whether first Amir al-Mu'minin is the Imam or not the Imam. After that, who is the Imam after him? Who is the Imam after him? So that would be the rational approach. But if you have individual question about anybody, yeah, sure. Perhaps you went and researched and found some hadith that you think that they indicate Imams alayhi salam are not ma'asum. This is very strange. Right. In your own ideology. Abelium, do you know that all actions men take in your own school of thought teaches you that they are actually carried out by Allah? Every action is from Allah. You know
I don't believe in kasb. I actually do not believe in kasb.
Well, your scholars do, but then you've turned away from your own school of thought.
That's actually false. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullahi alayhi, did not believe in kasb. But so we can get into that.
And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in your school of thought, he makes mistakes and he commits sins, right? Actually, why do you believe in that?
That's not true.
Open Muslim, open Muslim. There is a chapter.
Right.
Those people the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam cursed or beat them up or did lan against them. And by curse, I mean cussing. And they didn't deserve it. There's a whole chapter on that. And there's a chapter, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam advised people not to do talqih of their palm trees, collination of their palm trees, and then it turned out that those palm trees did not give any fruits. So there are many errors and mistakes and sins.
What's the logical conclusion from that? So let me ask you a question, right? So let's say I accept what you're saying, that the Sunni concept of imamah doesn't make sense, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was not appointed, and the Shura thing doesn't make any sense. Ali is appointed. Ashhadu anna Aliyan wali Allah. I accept all that. But now, how am I going to accept Ja'far Sadiq as an imam when Ja'far Sadiq said, "Man za'ama inni imam ma'asum wa tafarrada ta'a fa ana minhu bari"? How do I I don't want him to do bara from me. So how do I deal with that?
So inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, once you agree that Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam is the imam, al-Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam is imam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam is imam, the Shia books are full of ahadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, from Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein salawatullah alayhim ajma'in, that mention who are the 12 imam after them. Okay, who are the 12 imams after them?
Can you just show me only one sahih hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam naming the 12 imams from your book, not mine?
Oh yeah.
Can you show me?
Hundreds.
Or can you show me one, inshallah, from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam?
From the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, hundreds. Hold on.
Sahih, please.
Sahih. What's your concept of sahih?
So there's 5 criteria. So it would be dhabt al-rawi, adal al-rawi, the chain should be connected.
And who said that? Shad. And who said that? Is it the Quran? No, who said that? These are made up criteria. And sure, you know that even if a hadith, according to you, is sahih, that one person heard from the other, even if you say their memories are good, even if they say the chain was seems to be connected, still you understand that it does not convey certitude.
Ahad is not certain, correct? Yeah. So
that's it.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Certitude.
So how could you say that Sayyid is a hujjah?
That ahad is a hujjah?
Yeah, Sahih hadith is a hujjah. So if this hadith is sahih, okay, it doesn't convey certitude. If it conveys certainty, I'm certain that the Prophet ﷺ said this. Okay, that's one thing. But you agree that this does not convey certitude. So how do you determine that this is hujjah?
Right. So even if a sahih hadith does not convey certitude, the lack of like for example, al-Majlisi, Allam al-Majlisi, he went through Kitab al-Kafi and he graded the hadith based on various criteria, right?
No.
The fact that he did not. In Mirat al-Uqul, he didn't go through the
Majlisi, what he talks about is, and as Kitab Mirat al-Uqul is on the according to the standards of Mujtahideen Ahl al-Ijtihad, who have taken their standards from the Umaris. But he does not believe himself in those standards. So but he mentions that in many of his authorships that matter. At any rate, so you mentioned the Sahih book, Kifayat al-Athar fi al-Nass ala al-A'immat al-Ithnay Ashar alayhim as-salatu was-salam. In this book, there are hundreds of ahadith Hundreds of hadith. You know that. Even if we go by your criteria, those criteria are not hadith that you mentioned, that every person has to be adil and their dhabt has to be sahih. Although there is no way for you to ascertain the dhabt and the adala of someone who passed away 1,000 years ago, 1,200 years ago. Even if we go by your standards, there are hundreds of hadith here. Not one or two, hundreds of hadith here, mentioning the name of 12 Imams alayhim salatu wasalam from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and their imama. And hundreds of hadith for sure becomes mutawatir. Can we go? It's beyond the requirement for a mutawatir hadith. And mutawatir conveys certitude. So if we become certain, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said this.
So are you saying, are they independent chains or are they dependent chains? What I mean by that is,
there are different chains.
Completely different, all the way to the Prophet ﷺ from different Sahaba.
From different Sahabi, different chains, yeah.
How is it possible that you have it from different Sahaba when you believe that all the Sahaba apostated except for 3?
No. These are misconceptions. Even if an apostate person, he could tell the truth. For instance, for now, Joe Biden, he's not a Muslim. Is it impossible that Joe Biden sometimes speaks the truth?
No. Okay, so you have no. Okay, good.
If Umar ibn Khattab, hold on. First of all, we do not believe that. These are misconceptions. These are things that you have to. First of all, I'll have to teach you every step of the way. You're taking time with other people. But anyways, even Umar ibn Khattab, or Abu Bakr, or Uthman, we don't say that they always lied. They always lie.
Okay. So
if some person, and you know that Ibn Taymiyyah in his books, different parts of his books, he mentions quite often, for mutawatir hadith, it is not necessary that each person in its chain of narration has to be truthful, or he has to be a good person. Even if they're fusaq, even if the most corrupt people, still because of the multiplicity of narrators and multiplicity of narrations, it proves the point. So
that's the controversy.
First, we don't believe that. Second, that all Sahaba went astray. Even if astray people, they tell the truth. They admit a person who commits a sin, he does zina. It doesn't mean that he always lies. In another place,
I agree
he tells the truth. Yeah.
So just to clarify, that is a controversial opinion, right? It's called Sahih.
What's controversial? No, it's not a controversial opinion. It is accepted by consensus. That mutawatir hadith. Mutawatir. I'm talking about mutawatir. I'm not talking about Sahih al-Ghayri. You don't even understand what mutawatir is. There's quite a difference between Sahih al-Ghayri and between mutawatir. Tawatur means...
Correct. Mutawatir means that there's at least a couple Sahih chains, right?
No.
Independent Sahih chains.
No.
And the reason why...
There is no requirement for mutawatir hadith that there has to be a couple of Sahih in them. No.
My respect.
Even if all of them. Because
when you speak, I don't interrupt you, right?
Go ahead.
When you speak, I don't interrupt you. So there's ikhtilaf believes in this concept, right? That various chains, if they're weak, they can support each other, and somehow multiple weak chains can combine to make a sahih chain. Other scholars have said,
no. You're getting it wrong. And then you ask me not to interrupt you.
Yeah, but
see, you're making a mistake between mutawatir and sahih. They are two different things.
Right. So I
mutawatir, sahih is khabar wahid. Sahih is khabar wahid. Mutawatir is a different category. Sahih only conveys conjecture. Sahih does not convey certitude. A sahih hadith does not, according to your school of thought, a sahih hadith does not prove its point to the level of certainty.
Because you're going to interrupt me, and that's not fair, right? You're going to interrupt me. That's why I wanted to have a formal, moderated debate. But you don't want to have a debate.
If you're not trying to learn and understand what I'm saying, then what can I say? You're confusing between sahih and mutawatir.
You understand what is mutawatir? I do understand what mutawatir is, right? And I'll get to that in just a second. So, for example, hadith al-tayr. You know hadith al-tayr, right?
Of course.
This hadith, is it mutawatir according to you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know that more than 20 scholars of Ahlul Sunnah have rejected the hadith?
The ta'assub place. But
No. They are.
Let me answer you. Let me answer your concern. Okay, with regard to hadith al-tayr. Look, what is mutawatir? Mutawatir is a hadith that has so many chains of narration that even if those chain narrations in virtue of themselves, each one may be weak, but it will be impossible for all of them put together to be wrong, because it will be impossible for them to conspire together, all these people, to come with a false narration. So, if a person says this hadith is not mutawatir, that's his opinion. That is his opinion. He has to prove that there are not many chains of narration. So there's not a single scholar among some of your scholars who has proved or tried to prove that their hadith al-tayr does not have many chains of narration. They have simply stated that this is not mutawatir. That's out of their ta'assub. That's out of their bias against Shia. However, all those chains of narration are present. As long as they are present, or chains of narration, and these hadith are present in your books, and your scholars have affirmed that this hadith has many chains of narration. So if a person comes and says that this hadith does not have these many chains of narration, this is a simple negation. Simple negation. He has to prove. How do you disprove that all these chains of narration exist? How do you say that this doesn't have? There has to be some sort of simply a denial. A person denies. Say, I would deny Joe Biden is not the president of the United States. My denial doesn't prove anything. I have to prove. If your scholar says that the hadith al-tayr is not mutawatir, you're saying that many scholars have said that. Where is their proof? Where is their argument? I say hadith al-tayr is mutawatir. I show you all these chains of narration. And I show you all these affirmations by your scholars that hadith al-tayr is mutawatir. A simple denial is simply no proof, is no argument. It doesn't prove anything. Okay? And the important thing is, you are saying that 20 scholars have said that this hadith is not mutawatir. Not a single scholar has attempted to prove it's not mutawatir. There's quite a difference between the two statements. If you
mutawatir by definition means that the hadith is accepted with certainty, yes?
Mm-hmm.
By definition. Okay, and there have been, do you agree or not that there have been entire books written by scholars where they go through all 30 chains of hadith al-tayr. They go through every single one and they show the weakness and the illah and the chains. No, there aren't books like this.
It doesn't prove it. Well, as long as we understand that what is mutawatir. Mutawatir, it's not necessary for mutawatir to have one or two sahih chains. Everybody knows that. It is actually. No, no. You go and look. Go look.
Yeah.
Go look in the definition of mutawatir.
I can actually, and if we had a formal debate, I would bring you the scan from the book. I would show you, like, from the books of Ulum al-Hadith, Mustalah al-Hadith. I would show you. That's if we had a formal debate.
Cool. I'll show you now. I will show you now.
Like I said, it's a controversial. Didn't I begin by saying it's a controversial? So yeah, you're going to be able to show me scholars.
It's not a controversial issue. It's not a controversial issue.
It is. And if we had a formal debate, I would have shown you a scan from a scholar citing exactly what I'm saying. And so let me clarify what the position is, right? That weak chains can support each other if the illah is dhabt, not adala.
Okay.
Right? So if you have people who are weak in memory and they're agreeing with each other, then yes, in that case, it makes sense that they would agree. But for adala, it doesn't make sense. Why? Because a group of 10 friends, and obviously if I'm a bad person, I'm not adil, I can have other 10 friends who are not adil either. And all together we can come and we can fabricate a lie, okay? And now we go and we narrate to 10 other people. Now we have 100 chains, okay, 10 independent chains, but 100 chains total, and they're all weak. Does it make sense that chain should be now a certainty? Of course not. It makes no sense. Anybody with common sense will agree that this doesn't make any sense. That's why the standard should be that only when there's issues of dhabt, these chains can corroborate each other. Not when the issue is with adala.
Anyways, let me show you if I could find.
Yeah, I mean, I can give it to you right now from Ibn Hajar.
No, but you are.
I can show you right now.
Let me show you
what you're going to show me. I have what you have. I can show you what you're going to show me. That's not an issue. I'm not disputing that certain scholars have said what you're saying. I said it's a controversial issue. Certain scholars.
It's not controversial. It's not controversial. With regard to mutawatir, there is no. With regard to mutawatir, hadith al-mutawatir, there is no other condition than kathrat al-turuq. Multiplicity of chains of narration. That's the only criterion. Here is Majmu'at al-Fatawa. One moment, please. Al-Juz' al-Thamin Ashar, volume number 18. I'll show you here. I take you here. Page number 18. Ibn Taymiyyah. says, وَقَدْ يَكُونُ الرَّجُلُ عِنْدَهُمْ ضَعِيفًا لِكَثْرَةِ الْغَلَطِ فِي حَدِيثِهِ. It's possible that a person, a narrator, is a da'if because he makes too many errors. Why they make too many errors? All because these ahadith are narrated through memory.
No problem.
And memory is not perfect.
Majmu' al-Fatawa, what volume?
Majmu' al-Fatawa, volume number, what's the volume number? Volume number 18, page number 18. So, because these are, their ahadith are narrated by memory, through memory. And we all know the human memory is subject to bias.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
People narrate different matters differently. If you like a person and you're telling a story about him, you'll narrate the story differently. That if you dislike him, you'll narrate. Just test this. It's all human history, and every person can attest to that through his own life. If at one stage you liked a person, hold on. If you liked one person at one stage of your life, you told a story about him. You will tell him a story through a different lens. Now, 10 years later, you dislike him. You tell the same story. You're not going to use the same words. You're not going to say the same praise. You're going to tell the story differently. At any rate. وَقَدْ يَكُونُ الرَّجُلُ عِنْدَهُمْ ضَعِيفًا لِكَثْرَةِ الْغَلَطِ فِي حَدِيثِهِ. A person maybe, before the muhaddithin, scholars of hadith, he may be considered ضعيف because he makes too many errors. ويكون حديثه إذن الغالب عليه الصحة لأجل الاعتبار به والاعتذار. فإن such a person, if his hadith, we find an evidence in another hadith that supports that hadith. Because of that support, because of this evidence, his hadith, the weak person's hadith, will become sahih. فإن تعدد الطرق وكثرتها يقوي بعضها بعض. He's not talking about متواتر. He's talking about صحيح لغيره. It says كثرة الطرق, multiplicity of myriads of chains of narration, or several chains of narration. This authenticates another hadith. They support each other. They provide evidence to one another. حتى يحصل العلم بها. And then one becomes definite, gain certainty that this hadith must be true. وَلَوْ كَانَ النَّاقِلُونَ فُجَّارًا فُسَّاقًا. Look, these are the exact words of Ibn Taymiyyah. Even if the narrators are fajir, most corrupt, sinful, people of debauchery. فَكَيْفَ إِذَا كَانُوا عُلَمَاء عُدُولًا وَلَكِنْ كَثُرَ فِي حَدِيثِهِمُ الْغَلَطِ. So he clearly says, even if the narrators are fajir, fasiq, even if they are people of debauchery, people of major sins, if there are many chains of narration, one becomes certain that this hadith must be true. Okay? At any rate, I'll give you one final question and then I'll say goodbye to you because other people are waiting.
Okay, so just to clarify, you have rejected my offer for a formal debate, correct?
Who am I debating? Who am I debating?
What do you mean? I mean, I can.
Who am I debating? I mean, you become a worthy debater, or bring someone with you. Bring a scholar with you. Bring someone with you. So, I'm sorry if you want to call me here, ask questions like you did today. I have a question about this hadith. Give an answer. I'll be glad to entertain your question and answer your questions. But if you're asking for a formal debate, my apologies to you. I'll be criticized by the Shia community that why you gave recognition to somebody who was not a Shia community. The Shia community is the one that asked me to come to you, by the way. Just to clarify, it was the Shia community. Yes, stop debating and I welcome that, and I welcome you, and I'm at your service. You can ask me every week. Call me here, pose your questions, and I'll try my best to answer your question. Okay, but if you want a formal debate with a moderator, become someone first. Do you go to college, to Islamic college, get a mufti degree, and come here. Inshallah, I'll debate you. But until then, you call me, inshallah, just as a layman, and I will be humble to you, and I will always respect you. And I will try to answer your questions. And I'm not saying that I will always know what your answers are. Sometimes I may not know, because that's only Allah and Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. They know answers to every question. My knowledge is limited, but I'll try to be honest with you and fair with you and answer your questions. Okay?
I appreciate that. But you said you'd give me a chance to respond, right?
Yeah. Ask me your question.
Okay. So to clarify, so even the page that you shared from Majmu' al-Fatawa he actually agreed with what I was saying in the sense that he said that even if the person narrates, was it manakir or was it that he has some issues in narration, he can still be accepted, which comes from dhabt. It's not from, like, if you have issues in narration.
وإن كان, look, I even circled it in red. وإن كان الناقلون فجارا فساقا. Even if the narrators are fajr, people of debauchery, fusaqa, people of corruption. Even if they are very corrupt people of very, very bad character, if there's multiplicity of chains of narration, one gains certainty that this hadith must have been conveyed and related by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
But like I said, even if you bring a Ibn Taymiyyah, there are scholars who disagree, right? And there's no reason why Ibn Taymiyyah should be the end all.
Let me tell you, these scholars are, we don't follow scholars blindly. Let me tell you, if there is several chains of narration, for instance, you go outside and somebody tells you that there's been an explosion in Mexico. And then the other neighbors tell you, and these people all drink, these are not good Muslims. They are not even Muslims. You hear it from one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. Then you become certain that there must have been.
There's a hadith.
So because there is multiplicity of chains of narration, because this we know this in our daily lives. We know this for a fact. We are, perhaps you have never been to, let's say, Siberia, but Siberia exists. It's a very cool place because so many people have told you that Siberia actually exists, and it's a very cool place. So there are many events like that. If I go to my classroom and one student tells me that the principal is sick today, he didn't come, and then the other student, the third, fourth, none of them are Muslims, for instance, or they're Muslims, but they're all, they're liars. So, but if 3, 4 people tell me, then I'll be sure that the principal must be sick, because it's impossible that all these people conspired to make up a lie. It doesn't make sense. Okay. So tawatur, it's tawatur. If some of your scholars have said that tawatur is you're quoting scholars, that the scholars have mentioned that in order for hadith to be tawatur, there has to be at least one sahih hadith in between them. This is wrong. We know this for a fact that this is wrong. And we don't follow scholars blindly.
Yeah. So if there's a hadith which is narrated by many kuffar saying خَيْرُ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ بَعْدْ نَبِيهَا, you know the rest, right? Abu Bakr thumma Umar. Yes. This is narrated by kuffar according to you. Yes. But it's attributed to Imam Ali radiallahu anhu, Ali ibn Abi Talib. You'll accept this hadith, yes?
Well, we discuss. Okay. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, my ummah will follow the footsteps of Bani Israel. Bani Israel, after Musa alayhi salatu wasalam passed away, they had 2 sort of laws. One was written law, one was oral law. Even today, there are 2 sorts of Torah. There is the written Torah and there is the oral Torah. And the oral Torah was the saying of the apostles and their prophets and Moses alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, that they did not write down for centuries. Until many centuries later, some of the rabbis, they realized that if we do not write it down, that these sayings would be lost. So this ummah has followed, your school of thought has followed the footsteps of Bani Israel, even in their hadith.
I'm following the footsteps of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam.
You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. Just pay attention to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Pay attention to what I'm saying. So for centuries, your hadith were not written. They were orally transmitted from one person to another person. Okay? The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam warned us against this. He said that my ummah will follow the footsteps of Bani Israel. You guys did exactly what Bani Israel did. Bani Israel did what? They had the Torah and they had the oral Torah. So your hadith is equivalent to the oral Torah of Bani Israel. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, after him, commanded us to take only from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. In it. And so many verses of the Noble Quran about Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. And so many things about Abu Bakr's character. Like he ran away from battles. Like he didn't know simple questions during his khutbah. And then Abu Bakr himself, in his first khutbah after he was appointed by Umar as Caliph, the first sentence he said, وَلِّيتُ أَمْرَكُمْ وَلَسْتُ بِخَيْرِكُمْ. I'm not the best one of you. So if you attribute something to Amir al-Mu'minin, you claim it's mutawatir, prove it's tawatur, then we'll talk about it. Okay?
Yeah, I can prove it's tawatur.
And we'll talk to you. Can Abu Bakr be? If you go to my speeches in my Urdu channel, you understand some Urdu, there's a speech that how Abu Bakr and Omar, they violated the Bay'ah of Ridwan. 2 months. Or less than 2 months after they made a pact with the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam under the tree. What was that pact? These are many things in their character. That they made a pact with the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that they will never run away from any battle. And 2 months after that, you go look in my speeches in Urdu and you will understand. How could this person be the best person after Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Whether he broke his pact. He violated his own pact with the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Quran says, فَمَنْ يَنْكُثْ فَإِنَّمَا يَنْكُثُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ فَمَنْ نَكَثَ فَإِنَّمَا يَنْكُثُ عَلى نَفْسِهِ. Whoever violates this pact, he will not go to paradise. And so many other things about the character of Abu Bakr. At any rate, if you claim that this hadith is mutawatir, inshallah, bring one day. I give you plenty of time. I gave you plenty of time.
I can bring it right now. I can bring it right now, actually.
Bring you what right now?
The chains for hadith al-afdaliyah.
Can you
give me right now? I'll bring it on my phone. Can I share
tell me how could be afdal? How could be he afdal? Whether he himself admitted that he's not the best.
Maybe Ali radiallahu anhu was wrong. I don't know, because I don't believe he's infallible. So maybe he was wrong.
So it's all from
These are all.
So how could he be afdal? In Sahih Muslim, you have hadith. So this is Sahih Muslim. You have hadith that Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam said that Abu Bakr, Omar admitted that Ali alayhi salam, وَرَأَيْتُمَاهُ كَاذِبًا آثِمًا غَادِرًا خَائِنًا.
No.
Omar said to Ali alayhi salam and Abbas that you, Ali and Abbas, you believe that Abu Bakr was kadhib, liar, ghadir, athiman, he was a sinister, and ghadir, a betrayer, and kha'ina, and a traitor. And Ali alayhi salatu wasalam did not reject that. He did not say that I don't believe such a thing.
Right. And at the end of the
Omar is not a liar. So how could this be that you want to prove to me? Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam believes that Abu Bakr was the best person. The character of Abu Bakr is in front of us. Show me Abu Bakr's knowledge, or his bravery, or his taqwa, or his jihad.
So you answer me. Was Ali wrong? That's fine. If you want to say Ali.
No, we don't believe Ali alayhi salam said such a thing.
But it's mutawatir. It's impossible. According to you, it's impossible. Even if it's narrated by kuffar, it's impossible for such a thing to have been fabricated. Impossible.
Show me in Shia books. Show me in Shia books.
No.
Show me in Shia books. Show me in Shia books. If it's mutawatir, why Shias do not narrate this? You understand? You understand? Hold on. You understand? During the time of Muawiyah, and then Bani Abbas, they were narrators who were paid by the government to narrate a hadith and the fadila of the of Abu Bakr and Omar.
So you agree with me? But you agree with my standard that just because a hadith has multiple chains, if they're da'if, they can't.
Show me. Send me the chain. I'll study it and I'll answer you next week. Okay? That you consider this mutawatir.
It's a very famous hadith. I can show you.
Ya barakallah bik. I cannot see your phone. You send it to me. Barakallah bik. Send it to me. We'll see. We'll see in how many books it is. How many books? Because you understand that there amongst your own scholars, there's a big dispute. Not Shia, just among your own scholars. There's a big dispute who was afdal after the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Just the Umari scholars themselves.
Actually, there's not.
There is quite a bit of many of his scholars who believe that Amir al-Mu'minin was afdal than Abu Bakr and Umar. Lots of tabi'in, even today, lots of scholars believe that. Okay, if you're not informed of that, so if you claim that this is mutawatir, this is your misunderstanding. Send it to me, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, and I have a look at it. Okay.
How can I send it to you? How can I send you?
Email.
What's your email?
Look at my website. Look at this YouTube channel. Okay. Take care.
Your email is on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Can I send it now? You
can send it wherever you want to send it. I'll look at it when I have time. Okay.
Oh, so you don't want to discuss?
There are a lot of people who are waiting for me to take next call. I gave you a lot of time. I gave you over 1 hour.
Okay, you can. I mean, I wanted 4 hours, but okay, you can. I'll give you a discount.
Who are you? So I give you 4 hours. The other people are waiting. The other people, I give them 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay. Why should I give you more time than other people? It's not fair to them. Okay.
I understand.
There are people who wait for months to talk to me. I was respectful to you. There are scholars who are waiting. And
you just said at the beginning of your show in Urdu, you said that no scholars are calling into your show. You just said that in the beginning.
Scholars come, but I said major scholars are not coming. Major scholars, even if your scholars come, they do not discuss the main issues of dispute between me and them. They raise like minor issues, okay? So, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, you come, you send your email, inshallah, next week, if you have any questions, I'll try to answer your questions, okay? Every week you can come.
And by the way, next time I come on the show...
Other people are waiting. Other people are waiting now. Thank you.
Yeah,
you just call and come, inshallah. May Allah bless you.